All right, and we are ready to rumble for the final round of our Player Appreciation Open, our second Player Appreciation Open. My name's Adam.
And I'm Jesse.
And we're here to bring you all the action, adventure, and thrills
Mystique.
The Mystique, that's good, yes. Of Mono Blue Eurus against Steven's Sylvester Starlet deck that you just saw in the top four.
Notably, we are watching a rematch between the two players.
Yes.
In the finals of our previous Player Appreciation Open. However, both players this time have rolled up with entirely different decks.
Yep. And we have seen both of them on camera before. Noble in round, what was it, 1, and then Steven in this last one in round 5.
Yes. So Noble is here to defend his title, while Steven has an opportunity to overtake him as the new reigning
champion.
Manifold champion.
World champion.
World champion of Manifold TCG.
So we just talked about Sylvester and Starlet. We will a little bit more, but if you want to go back and see it in action, go check out the last match, round 5. But now we've got Eurus in Noble's hands being played against it. Eurus is a 45-point blue hero, which means his entire deck has to be blue because you only have 45 points to work with. And he says as long as you got 2 or fewer support characters, each of your support characters rolls an extra white dice. So Noble is going to be trying to play guys, activate them, roll the extra dice, and then sacrifice them to get out of the way for the next one. It looks like Noble started off the game with a Revenant, which when sacrificed deals 3 damage to any character. So it can be both removal or it can be a burn spell.
Yes, when discarded from play, notably. So
yes,
it does also punish your opponent for removing it.
Yes. And so Eurus, it says one of his energy abilities, sacrifice a character to draw 2 cards. And so Noble with Revenant in play is always able to spend an energy to shoot something for 3 damage. He could theoretically shoot that Daring Saboteur or something.
And draw 2
cards at the same time. Yeah, Eurus is great.
And so this is
a very different game from the last one, I believe.
This is a matchup where we could see the 45-point heroes lower health pool actually coming into effect.
Yeah.
While Steven's deck does not innately produce a lot of damage, Noble's deck does create quite a few red dice, and so like we saw in the last game against Rilo E Emergent, Steven has the opportunity to energy retracer a lot of red dice and really present a pretty fast clock.
Yep.
But Steven's deck is also just efficient enough at using all of its dice and all of its resources every turn that could be enough to sort of overpower Eurus before the full engine gets going.
Absolutely. Seeing a little bit of a trade here. Steven plays a Wasteland Stalwart. Noble immediately excommunicates it.
Indeed. So I believe that, in a game in which Noble can maybe get some remembrances into play, really start to generate these colossal dice pools very quickly, then he's probably favored.
But in a race, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think if the game tends to go a little bit longer, then this Sylvester Starlet deck is just going to outgrind the Mono Blue deck pretty much at every turn.
There's something neat happening right here in play. You said if Noble gets some remembrances going, right? So Remembrance is a structure, and Steven has Daring Saboteur in play. Daring Saboteur says when activated, you can sacrifice this to deal 5 to a structure.
Correct.
So the moment, so there's a couple of things here. A, Noble can't just play Remembrance because Steven will just blow it up. But Noble has a Clothbound Apprentice in play. Notice how Remembrance here says you may play a character from your discard with this paying blue towards it.
Yes, indeed.
In matchups where both players know that Remembrance is really important, there's a very important option on the table of play Remembrance, playing Clothbound Apprentice, shielding Remembrance.
Absolutely.
And that gets done a lot when both players are waiting for Remembrance. Because Remembrance is a type of card where you play it in a round, and 3 rounds later it's rolled like 10 black dice or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's nuts. Like, just on its face, it's fine. And then You roll 1 black dice, and then you roll 2.
Yeah,
you
no,
roll
it just
3.
it just kind of sits
keep going.
around, and the way that Eurus tends to kind of be able to cycle through his cards and lots of and the kind of, Remembrance also obviously very powerful in multiples. And because of the way that Eurus functions with sacrifice a support character, draw 2, you really get to churn through your deck pretty quickly because playing your Remembrances brings back your characters for you to sacrifice them again, for you to draw more cards, for you to find more Remembrances.
Yeah, Eurus just kind of goes. He does his little loop.
It can create a pretty staggering amount of dice pretty quickly.
Yeah. And as such, both players know Remembrance is really important. And so they're going to have this whole game around Steven trying to keep Remembrance off the table and Noble trying to make sure it sticks. So Energy Retracer here from Steven, just a powerful card, is going to sabotage Noble's red dice, which lets him put
have a removal spell for the Saboteur here. It's really expecting to see a crackle or a strike down.
Yep, because Daring Saboteur here is... Noble has 6 gems. I'm sure he has cards. I'm sure he can do something. We just don't know what yet.
We just don't know.
Yeah. But it's clearly not a removal spell for Daring Saboteur. I mean, maybe Noble doesn't care about Saboteur and he has a plan to deal with it and doesn't have Remembrance Hand or whatever. And
I mean, I just think that the dice alone are enough.
Never mind. Okay. He just does have
waiting.
Sure, whatever. Yeah, that's fine. I believe he has some reason, and
I'm sure he does have.
It worked out just fine. Either way, Noble is going to strike down this Daring Saboteur, clearing the way for a Remembrance in the future, and just removing dice. Which is great. So remember, every energy that Eurus rolls is really important because Eurus is one of the most powerful dice, or what's it called? Energy ability boxes in the game.
Oh, absolutely.
Steven, it looks like, is resolving a diplomatic meeting, which, is now in his discard, letting him reroll dice. And the first thing he decided to reroll was Noble's energy. Steven gets it. Noble will discard to reroll his dice. It looks like a second strike down to reroll his dice because he's looking for an energy so he can sack the Revenant, so he can shoot the Energy Retracer, so he can draw 2 cards, and the train continues.
Indeed.
But Noble not hitting an energy on that white dice, and Steven getting rid of it more specifically is huge.
Yeah, I mean, if we could find a way to trade our Retracer or our Revenant for the Retracer,
that's fantastic. Noble actually told me in a previous round, he played Excommunicatus targeting his own Augur's Auspice, which is just a 1-drop that when it dies, you draw a card, just because he needed to draw cards, trigger Remembrance, and keep the train going. He could theoretically Excommunicatus his own Revenant, and then strike down his own Revenant.
And if we add it here, I think it's quite good.
Yeah. I think Revenant has 2 durability. Might have 3.
It does have 2 durability.
Okay,
confident.
Yeah, it was the concept.
So we're going to go into round 3 here. Noble's got his Revenant he's activating for red and white, because remember, Eurus does let your guys roll extra dice as long as you only have 2 or fewer of them.
And boy, is he good at keeping that number low.
Yes, deck is specifically built to make that happen.
They placed the button.
So,
looks like
very different game than the one we saw Steven play against Danielle.
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, this game is going to be much more about
I thought it.
I mean, it's much
they're just
more
trading
about
board
the late
state.
Game, and they're going to be doing a lot of 1-for-1ing each of them. Like, kind of as soon as this Energy Retracer is kind of presenting the opportunity to do this.
Yeah.
But what is going to decide this game more likely than not, unless one player just kind of fizzles out because they draw the wrong half of their deck, is that some individual threat is going to run out of control.
Yes.
At least particularly from Steven's side, where he has the potential to really get a pretty significant amount of counters on an Energy Retracer or something similar. And so if Noble can kind of continue to 1-for-1, yeah, and Steven representing.
There is an interesting caveat to that. If Steven's just 1-for-1ing things, Noble has a bunch of really sticky characters.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
Like Steven's plan can't be
No,
use
no,
a removal spell to kill Cathedral Lookout.
No,
right?
I think that
it's a lot more
Noble's-
nuanced than that.
No, I think that Noble's plan is to be 1-for-1ing things.
No, I
and
know,
not
but
letting-
Steven's deck
Yeah,
is built to 1-for-1.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
So there's a lot of nuance to exactly how Steven tries to slowly eke out value over the course of the game, which is what his deck
Certainly.
is built to do, because Noble is also built to do that.
Yes. Yeah, Noble is very resilient to that plan. And if Steven elects to play the game in that fashion, then I think that Noble is quite favored.
I believe Noble had an energy in his pool, and Steven used sleight of hand to
believe that is
get rid of it because his Daring Saboteur is a rogue.
Yeah, it is.
So he got to also modify one. It's interesting to me that Steven's playing sleight of hand without a rogue hero. But he's got like Docite Thug. He's probably got
It changed
10 to 12 cards in his deck that are rogues, and so he's likely to have it.
I imagine we're going to see 2 energy getting made here.
Yeah, so change the tide, modify 2, and sabotage 2. He makes one. Noble makes 1 energy and
Diplomatic meeting.
oh, don't play diplomatic meeting. Yep, that's diplomatic meeting.
And so then he's going to...
So they're actually really fighting over Noble's use of any energy ability.
Oh, not sabotage.
Very
modify?
interesting.
Fascinating. Well,
So
at this point, though, because we are going to get to modify into an energy if we'd like.
yeah,
Um,
Noble can also modify to draw 2,
yeah,
which he looks like he's going to do.
I think that's
Because
pretty solid here.
draw 2 is going to accomplish a very similar thing, because all he's looking for is 1 drops and guys to sacrifice stuff, and Federation Battle Mage, stuff like that.
Yeah, Federation Battle Mage looking fantastic.
That's probably the best draw in Noble's deck for like right now, because it'll come in, get rid of the Revenant. Okay, that's Augure's Auspice. That's different.
You know, for this.
Augure's Auspice here, when activated, or rolls a black dice, and when it dies, you draw a card.
Well,
Real good to sack, but it looks like we're just gonna activate it for a black dice because Noble doesn't have energy to sack his stuff with.
And that is correct. Do some modifying.
Something to-
just making some damage.
Something to note is that right now we know, well, probably, the Noble doesn't have a Protection of Belief in hand. So
Yeah, you would have on the cert.
Protection of Belief is one of the stronger dice removal spells in the game, because it sabotages a 2 physical and a 2 mental at the same time for a single gem. And
yes, but literally not.
Noble plays 3 of these. Steven does not get to play 3 of these. So every color has its own couple of cards that are really powerful. Noble doesn't get to play Energy Retracer, but Noble does get to play Protection of Belief, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And so Noble's going to be looking for Steven to have 2 mental, 2 physical in his pool, and Steven's going to probably be trying to play around not having those at the same time.
Yeah, certainly.
Which means when Steven has both of those and Noble doesn't get rid of them, Steven knows
then
that, you know,
It's pretty
it's
telegraphed.
pretty telegraphed, yeah. Both of these players are good at this game to the point where they can actually like understand
to reroll
decisions.
1 damage on this red die when going to reroll. Fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it can't get... It obviously, it can get better, but it's not like it gets that much better. I'm not sure exactly.
I mean,
It depends on what his goal is.
yeah, I think you would prefer to have a shield here.
Yeah, that's
than
fair.
any damage face
Yeah, that's very fair.
is my main thought. But I guess maybe, you know,
So it looks like Noble's-
Steven's objects are shielded.
So due to a little bit of lag and
Really
the players just talking through what they're doing, we're not sure exactly what the order of operations was there at the end of the round.
Yeah,
but we can see that, you know, Noble ended up with a shield. I think he dug in, and he gets to start the next round by activating Augure's Auspice.
What
I don't think I should.
Hey, there's energy.
is your take? Okay, so
So-
this energy,
Noble's entire game, Noble's entire life is built around getting energy and using it, because he currently has 3 characters in play, which is bad, and Steven's doing everything he can to get rid of Noble's energy while chipping away at Eurus. And he's gotten rid of almost, I believe, every energy that Noble has rolled, and Eurus is at half health. Like, he's doing it.
It's honestly looking pretty doomed for Noble. However, if this energy gets to stay around, I do think that Noble has the opportunity to really start kind of going off, as it were. This, like, beginning the chain of sacrificing your characters. Well, yeah, I mean, like,
because the energy retracer is shielded, and the Revenant. I mean, maybe the Revenant here goes after the Daring Saboteur, and then he plays like a Remembrance or something, and that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I guess if he was going to do that, there's either way, not the point. Also, hey, Alex in chat. Alex is now here in chat. He was the one who was casting with me last time, and I'm glad you get to join us. So good to see you in chat. Let's see what Noble is able to put together. So he's able to sacrifice that Augur's Auspice, drawing a card off of itself, and then drawing 2 cards because he's using his ability.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Noble has somewhere in the realm of 8 cards in hand at this point.
Yeah, it's not a big.
So you have to assume that he is going to be able to kind of to have this round play out the way that he wants.
This is the best chance that Noble has to present his own game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and
if he's not able to hear, then he probably isn't going to be able to it at all.
And if Steven has more copies, Energy Retracer,
I mean, so
find ourselves in a rough spot. So, okay, so this is something interesting about the mono blue deck that I'm noticing here. You know, you have absolutely no way to meaningfully interact with shields.
Yeah, it's real hard.
Timeline that matters.
Yes.
So, like, in yellow, you have Hidden Blade. In green, you have Witchfire. In red, you just have a variety of swift things.
Yeah.
And so there are in a lot of other matchups, this Energy Retracer would actually be under some threat here.
You have Strike Down because you can destroy a character.
True.
That's true. But Noble played one and discarded the other.
Yes, they're gone.
So, and I think he's only playing 2.
That's
so,
correct.
like, you're totally right.
Yes. Yeah. So there's no.
Well, I think you're totally right. I think Eurus is built to just race,
to just not care.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we do care because
Proselytizer.
We are under a lot of threat. And
did I spell that right? Nope.
No. And so Steven does just kind of get to sit back, continue to buff up this Energy Retracer, turn it into this kind of colossal threat that isn't going to get answered for the duration of this game, and is, at this point, appears to kind of be running away with it.
Yeah, I agree. So this card that Noble just attached to Eurus, Proselytizer, is great in round 1 and worse every round that goes on from there.
Correct.
Because he wants to spend this round playing 8 little 1-drops and sacking them and rolling more white dice and like doing the whole engine thing.
Certainly.
And Proselytizer, gets value out of being activated multiple times. It's still fine. It's still 4 gems for
there comes that protection of belief.
Protection of belief, clearing up I think it was 4 damage. I saw
appeared to be 4 damage
from Steven. So Noble really wants to at this point just not die for a while, establish some.
If Noble can stay above like 10 this round, then he kind of gets another opportunity to really start getting the gears turning next round.
But Steven's been able to
quite honestly, I don't think that is particularly likely unless we see a bunch of Change the Tides again.
Yeah. And Steven's got Energy Retracer gems.
Yeah, so what's going to happen here? My prediction is that we're going to sabotage some dice with protection of Change the Tide. No, Remembrance. Okay.
Getting back. Clothbound
Apprentice, shield it. Yep. The line that we described earlier.
So we've got a situation here where Noble is going to make a bunch of engine pieces, and the next round, have a bunch of engine pieces and be ready to go off.
Absolutely.
So let's see if Noble House knows how to stack these triggers properly. So Clothbound Apprentice is kind of weird with Eurus. Clothbound Apprentice here says when activated, you can stack this to roll white. And that's a trigger. So yes, turns out Noble does in fact know how to stack triggers. So when activated, he has 3 characters in play, right? But he can sacrifice it and then point to Eurus's trigger and say, hey, I have 2 characters in play, I get to roll a white dice.
Yep.
And so it rolls a white dice for itself, it rolls a white dice for Eurus, and a black dice for Remembrance. And you might start to notice this energy, if Steven doesn't get rid of it, which he might be right here.
Yeah.
No, he played Contraband Dealer. Great. Noble gets an energy. He gets to sack his Revenant, and he gets to shoot.
Start blasting.
Noble probably sacks Revenant and shoots the Contraband Dealer, right? Or the Sap
Dealer.
Well, because the Revenant Remembrance is
we have
shielded.
blanks in our pool.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Simply roll 2 faces.
Oh, but
Big numbers are better.
Steven plays this cool card that no one really gives much credit to, but this guy's great. It's not going to matter too much because Steven just isn't rolling blanks. Why roll blanks when you can just roll 2 damage sides?
When you could
Much easier.
do damage.
Yeah, so Eurus is going to activate with a proselytizer on it, allowing him to play a character.
Shit.
He'll play an Augur's Auspice.
I forgot that proselytizer rolls purple.
Yeah, no, card's just great on top of its trick.
Yes, indeed.
So Noble now has 2 energy. He could even modify into a 3rd. I don't think he's going to do that, but
And here is where those gears really do start to turn.
yes, Noble doesn't have any gems this round. And there's this problem with Eurus where all of his actions, he has a bunch of dirty little actions.
Oh, contraband dealing.
Did he just roll 2
Roll
blanks?
blank on contraband.
Well,
dealer,
that's-
baby. That's how
and
you
then
do
just
it.
roll it
That's
into-
how you do it.
Just roll into
Steven is a true professional. Demonstrating his mastery over the dice rolling element of this game. It's one of the most important skills a player needs to develop in order to have success, as you've seen over the course of today.
Yeah, just roll blank into 2 damage, or was that 2 draw 1 rend or something like that? Great.
Who even cares? They're numbers.
They are numbers. Numbers are better than not numbers. So one of the problems with Eurus is that it's pretty slow. Noble has all the stuff now. He's got Proselytizer, he's got Remembrance, he's got things to sack. I bet you Eurus is going to take 10 damage this round, and then Steven's going to be able to just kill him before he does all the
Remember it when I said that if Noble has greater than 10 health on Eurus remaining at the end of this round, he is probable to be able to turn the corner next turn. Noble is going to take more than 8 damage this round, almost certainly.
Yeah.
Barring some pretty... it's just pretty impossible, to be frank.
Yeah. So we're going to take off Eurus' shield. Noble doesn't have any shield dice, so like all this damage is going to resolve. Steven might tactically reroll a couple of these to maybe get a little bit more damage, but for the most part, Steven's just going to resolve a big chunk of damage.
Surprised to see Steven not just firing.
yeah, it's your
I guess.
rhyme, yeah.
Well, Steven knows that Noble can't shield.
Yeah.
And even if he can, he's got 1 damage to, multiple source of 1 damage to get rid of it.
I might. Pearl Grove. Yeah, at least hold these.
Yeah, so this is when, one of the kind of few decks in the game that really does take advantage of the non-existent hand size limit.
Yeah. Energy to draw 2 cards, if you do it a bunch of times, gets you there.
Sure it does.
Noble's going to use his energy to sacrifice Cathedral Lookout, which will create a Sentinel token and roll a black dice off of Remembrance. And Witchfire will clean up that Sentinel token, which will roll a black dice off of Remembrance, if Noble remembers that. Maybe he doesn't.
That is one of the things about Remembrance, is that you do have to remember.
Crazy. He did remember it.
He did.
Just rolled it on the other side of the table.
Okay, so Eurus down to 10. Are we sure that it's not 9? I could have sworn that Steven resolved 9 damage there.
From
Maybe I'm
18. Yeah.
Uh,
I guess we'll see.
we will see.
Sorry about the video.
The resolution has gotten to a point where I cannot make out any.
There we go.
On anything. So
Yeah.
that perhaps could be a factor.
I think the camera keeps refocusing on like
Somebody's hand.
someone's like shoulder as it touches the shot, and then everything refocuses. That's yeah, it'll be okay.
Okay, so Noble, he's got a decent amount to work with here.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of
he's kind of on
he's
the ropes.
probably not killing Starlet.
That was
See, the
not
problem
what we
is
wanted to see.
Noble is at 10. Steven has a bunch of dice in play, and most of his threats are shielded. So Noble's like dying next round.
What do you do?
On the other side, it's like, oh, well, you know, maybe he deals 8 damage to Starlit, and then Sylvester's still at full.
Yeah, exactly. Like even if we were to kill Starlit here, we are still so ludicrously far behind.
Yeah.
And again, this is something that we talked about in round 1 and is even more relevant here. The Eurus deck just takes so
many
time to do its thing. Like every little piece of the puzzle gives
is
your
like
opponent,
3 actions.
Gives your opponent an opportunity to roll 3 dice.
Yeah.
Like, and so you
play a 1-drop, they play a 4-drop.
If you're not
you activate your guy,
you're just
they activate their guy.
Deep trouble.
You sacrifice your guy, they resolve their dice. You play your next 1-drop, they dig in.
Yeah,
and then you've got 4 more 1-drops to play.
It's truly a disaster.
It looks like we are readying for the next
round 5.
Yes, round 5. So this getting to round 5 at all is where Steven wants to be.
Oh, 100%. And
yes.
I mean, at this point, like, I hate to say that it's a foregone conclusion, but it does feel
it's not great.
Swiftly closing in on that.
Yeah. Eurus has been Noble did kill Starlet, but Steven's going to open with disrupt communication to kill the proselytizer,
which is actually very significant.
Yeah, it's
a lot of dice and a whole jam.
And what Steven really wants right now is to just keep the status quo. He's very happy just trading threats for removal because he knows he's winning.
Noble, notably, without copies of Fall of a Steer.
Yeah. Yes. Or Devastating.
Devastating.
That's the one he could actually play. Yep. So
I anticipate that we'll see, you know, Noble is going to take a bunch of actions that roll a single die, while Steven is going to take a bunch of actions that roll 2 to 3 to 4 dice.
Yep.
And at a certain point, that just becomes unsustainable when your hero is at 10.
Yes.
And you're trying to battle through.
Yeah, the real problem is the
chromium dice and a
orchestral conductor, or play orchestral conductor.
They were playing classical something that costs a lot of gems. Yeah, there it is on the right, on the far right.
Ah, there we go. Yes. So, sweet. I should spell that right. I should again spell that right.
So orchestral conductor, I think, going to be the death knell here.
Is that? Yeah. So what you were saying about about Steven's threats rolling a bunch of dice all at once, orchestral conductor just amplifies that. That's
absolutely now pretty much every option.
No, Eurus himself with Blessed Mender was real good. And this would have been really nice.
This would have been fantastic if we could have found it a couple turns ago.
Noble still might not lose.
Yeah,
I do think that there are
it is a possibility
lines that lead to him barely squeaking it out. Blessed Mender helps with that because it sacrifices the Augur's Auspice to draw a card. It heals Eurus. It rolls a blue dice to keep him alive. Rolled Sabotage right there. That'll trade for 2 damage.
Yeah.
Like that is everything he wants all at once.
Oh, absolutely.
And Noel does need to find 16 damage before Steven fights 12, but those numbers aren't that different.
No, they're really not.
Now, this is me being super optimistic. I'm not. I do think that Noble is probably not. I do believe Steven is a favorite here, but
Oh, certainly. No, but Noble does have ways out of this situation.
He's got
They're
6
just kind of
games.
few and far between.
I do think that Noble will.
And again, it's all about time. Like
Yeah,
ultimately,
about
Noble is playing against the clock here, not
Yes.
actually against Steven. Because I fully believe that if Noble was able to just take any number of actions in a row, he could quite
round.
easily put himself into a position where he is not losing and may even be winning.
Yes.
However, that is not how the game of Manifold TCG works.
Yeah, Steven's going to kill Noble in, let's say, 8 actions from now.
And if Noble
Ish.
could take the 20 actions that he would like to take this round, then he could
He'd be doing
probably
great.
stabilize. However, that's just simply not going to happen.
I mean, Noble could just play a bunch of change the tide. I guess now one change the
One
tide.
change the tide.
But it looks like he's not going to. So he would have done it right there, probably. Either way, we'll see.
Yes.
Hey, Patrick. Got Patrick in the chat.
Welcome.
All right. Let's brace that down.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's fine.
So Noble here,
It's half.
lots of options. That is certainly not something that you could say about this moment is a lack of
Yeah.
decision making points. It's like we're going to elect to roll a couple of white dice,
Yep.
and yeah, I mean it's just simply too slow.
Maybe. I'm not convinced it's as. Yeah, well,
Look at all this modifier.
but it's not 12 though. I guess there's still a bunch more dice to roll.
There's so many more
Yeah.
dice to roll, and again, it's like, okay, change the tide.
Whatever.
change
I'm
the
here to root
tide.
for the underdog.
Yeah. That's
You know what the
fine.
problem is? Steven's
I'm
gonna
here
have
to root
Witchfire.
against Noble.
Steven's gonna just blow him out with Witchfire.
Yeah, who cares?
All right. So Noble plays Federation Battle Mage. This is the type of card where if Noble finds 3 of them, he's actually gonna win the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Witchfire.
So we did have Witchfire.
Yeah.
So Witchfire's gonna take out that Sentinel.
There's been a
To
whole
roll
lot of
Black Offer.
Witchfires pointed at Sentinels
That's
this game. I don't know how I feel about this gameplay, but it
You look awful.
Makes sense to me.
yeah, I mean it's fine. But again,
That's not what.
it's Noble activating
No.
a Sentinel is an action that he has to take.
Yeah, I suppose
And
Steven could just go
if
for
you're
lethal.
just trying to find lethal,
Yeah.
then Witchfire allows you to play through pretty much anything.
Yeah. It was like, I also got
Sure.
Sierra about this stuff. It's really scary.
So we're gonna resolve some damage against Eurus. Noble's gonna roll some dice. Eurus is gonna go to what is that? 9, 8, something like that.
You got it.
I didn't actually do the
I did not do the math. I was too busy reading
yeah.
chat.
I'm confident that Brad at the table is doing
The math.
And the
Generally
players.
speaking, I would
Yeah.
imagine
So
that somebody is doing the math.
yeah, he's at 9. Okay, and then Steven finds 5 more damage.
5 more
But
damage.
this is what I'm
It's
talking about. It's not
that's
lethal.
Yeah.
No, Noble doesn't have any more things to
Yeah.
activate. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But
I agree, Alex. I tend to believe that math is for blockers more often than not.
math is for blocking.
Math is for rollers.
That's
I
why.
don't roll dice. That's why I'm a superior Manifold player. Is I've actually never rolled a die.
Yeah, that's part of the
I
problem.
just
That's why I
play
keep
the
beating him.
cards, and they do things.
And then you lose.
And then my
the
opponent
game.
rolled like 20 dice, and then I lose. And I don't understand how this keeps happening.
This game sucks because I don't roll dice and then lose.
Yeah, because if I don't roll dice, I both don't have to do math. Math is for suckers and blockers, and also I
Just
There's less variance. There's not variance. I
That's
eliminate
true.
the
That's
variance
true.
element from the game. I know what's going
There's
to
some
happen
value
every time. I know that I am deterministically going to lose every game.
Does Noble have lethal in play?
No.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Maybe
13 damage. Okay, so it's not lethal. Just the game isn't over.
the game is not over, and it's making me frustrated because I can't handle being wrong, which is part of why I play this game to deterministically lose.
This is why you're not in the tournament. You can't be wrong if you don't play.
And probably not, but very technically yes. So I suppose I will attempt it. Yes,
Yeah.
this is
Noble. There is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah. Noble has max roll 17 damage, which is 1 to take off the shield, and then. Yeah.
And I believe Noble still does have roughly 1 million cards in his hand. And so our villain is fishing for...
Noble is our villain in this.
Noble is our villain.
story.
Noble's defending his title. He's our villain.
Ah, yeah, okay, sure.
Something,
Steven, the up-and-coming upstart who might finally win a tournament.
Might finally win his first tournament of anything ever.
Okay, how much damage?
This is quite anime. Correct.
All right.
Do you have Witchfire? Has been called.
Noble Eurus is at 1, and Sylvester is at 3. Noble is playing 3 crackles in his deck. At least two crackles. Wow, we're down to actually Witchfire versus Crackle.
Yeah, this fire. Patrick.
Witchfire.
Give your cost out.
I typed in this fire and nothing came up.
Nothing came up. What is she doing wrong?
I should make a this fire.
Yeah, you should. So
here's an option.
Pretty
Crackle, right?
Crackle would end the game, provided that Steven does not have Witchfire.
Oh, too
gigantic,
too
cute to die here from Steven. Wow, how many copies of that card is he playing? There's no way it's 3.
Card's great.
2, okay.
Too cute to dies. Okay, so now we're back in real game mode. Well, I guess Eurus is still 1, but he's shielded. Okay, Steven rolls a pile of damage. That's not great.
This is pretty epic.
Protection of Belief gets rid of the damage. Both the damage because you rolled mental 2 and a physical 2. Great, yeah, great.
We found ourselves playing a real game. I hate it here.
Like describing like they're pin like.
Okay, Protection of Belief.
Yeah, it's gonna clear up some damage. Noble's gonna do the. It's gonna activate Eurus, sacking his what's it called? Clothbound Apprentice to Blessed Mender.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Blessed Mender.
A blue dice
Gigantic
off of
here.
Yeah, heal 2. Heal 2 is huge.
Blessed Mender, I believe, invalidates. No, is that a damage? I can't see. The yellow dice don't read very well on the camera.
I can't tell what that yellow dice is saying. But Steven does have a 1 and then a 2, which would have
Steven keeps his dice in tiers of what they do, and so I believe that die not being grouped with the other dice means that it is not in fact damage, which bodes much better for our protagonist or antagonist, depending on whether or not you're right. And
that is generally how that goes.
Let's see here.
Oh man. All right, so
okay, looks like we're activating the Federation Battle Mage. Roll purple black.
So Noble really wants to just see a bunch of damage faces so he can actually threaten lethal on Sylvester.
Yes.
If he just rolls a bunch of not damage, which it looks like he's...
This shield is actually so important, so I guess we did need to roll those dice.
And remember that once Sylvester loses her shield, she's going to activate, roll some dice, and then...
Sabotage. Oh.
What was... Oh, the yellow? The yellow dice? Yeah, eating the one damage was
very
huge.
Good. Well, it ate the shield, which is arguably more impactful.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it is.
Now Noble is facing down lethal.
So Sylvester will activate.
No repercussions.
Yep.
No recompense, that is.
Noble should just play Witchfire and then Crackle.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
This,
ladies and gentlemen, is why you can't play blue cards.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game that you called like 15 minutes ago, still going and being close, is why blue is
Why
bad.
blue is terrible.
Good. Glad we figured that
Blue
one
is the
out.
worst color in the game.
Oh man, this is so close in so many different ways. This is neat. So Noble, Steve is gonna take the shield off.
Shield
Noble
will
will
come
shield
off.
again.
Noble will die. Noble looks dead.
Noble looks
That
dead.
was Noble being dead. 90% sure that meant that he died.
That's it. All right.
Very dead.
Steven is our winner.
Steven has taken the belt.
That
too cute to die. That too
very
cute to
close
die
game.
was
Yeah, the too cute to die was huge.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. Very good.
Awesome.
Glad to see our protagonist taking that one home.
Seriously. Yeah. So that's our tournament. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah,
everyone.
thank you everybody for watching.
This was awesome. I'm glad that we got so many people out. I'm excited for the next one. So the next thing that we're doing is other than like weekly events at Paradise and other place in Bellingham, we are going to be at Cascade Clash in Burlington on March 8th, 9th, and 10th.
The Skagit Valley Fairgrounds, if I am not mistaken.
That's the one. There's a bunch of information on Aegis LGS.com. Whatever.
Yes.
I don't know. They're actually
LGS.com is
Cool.
the website.
And we're going to be giving out foil promo heroes at that event if you want to come in and grab some of those. And we're excited to see there are going to be a couple events. There's going to be we're going to run like tournament things. So it'll be great. So thank you so much for stopping by and watching. This has been Adam and Jesse. And have a good day, everyone.
Lucky do.